What's up, everybody, and welcome to the official PlayStation podcast of the KT Data Network.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
We are the LittleBigKast.
We are.
On today's show, KT subs for Rachel and drinks PB&J soda.
Cross-show promotion.
Yum.
Drew plays with Sack Boys.
Every day, all day.
And Jeff's got a belly in his fire.
Crotch Fire.
You'll get caught up in the crotch fire.
Gotta win it in a crotch fire.
All this and more on episode 33, ladies and gentlemen, of the LittleBigKast. We're going to leave it. Just leave it. That's funny. What it is, everybody. My name is Jeff Fox. Welcome to the LittleBigKast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm not Drew Tyler.
No, you're Jeff Fox.
I'm Jeff Fox. With
good
me,
looking.
as always, is the indestructible Drew Tyler.
I like that. That's nice. I will be indestructible any day.
The indestructible Drew Tyler.
Bring it.
And the Blazing Asian.
Let's see that guy. Let's see that Blazing Asian.
I'm Rachel, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for stepping in for Rachel, man.
Yep. KT has graciously stepped in for Rachel Hernandez for us today, and we are very grateful. Thanks, KT, for stepping into
we totally got
positions.
That's true. We got to behave though, because producer is like on air, not like
I see. This is what I wonder. Is Drew's always talking about that? I'm like, I swear my initials are KT and not FCC.
The producer.
I so wish we could take a step about 45 seconds back, and I could introduce you as the producer / seducer, KT Data himself in the flesh. One man, 3 jobs. Producer, voice, seducer. I wish I could do that, but I can't, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, people are probably like, "Oh, please stop, Jeff. Just
Stop.
Don't inflate his ego even more. We already know how big it is."
Stop telling KT he's a seducer.
Anyway, he's try something crazy.
We're pumped to be here with you. This is episode 33 of the LittleBigKast. It's pretty crazy to think that we've been doing this 33 times. Not in a row, but
fairly close.
Semi
40 weeks, maybe.
We'll round.
Yeah, we'll round up. Anyway, I'm super pumped to be here this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're hearing it, this morning, whatever.
We are with
a lot of stuff to talk about. We got some news to go through. We've got we're going to talk a little bit about the new trend in gaming. Seems like developers more and more often have decided that it's appropriate to release games that are totally freaking broken. I have a big problem with this. KT, not so much. Is that true, KT?
They'll have to find out. They'll have to find out.
I'll convince you to have a problem with it. How about that? So I'm excited. Thank you for joining us. We'll just jump right into it and kick it off with Drew. Drew, what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? Game-wise, I played a little and a lot of Destiny, not as much as I would love, obviously, but I did get a chance to hang out with you cats one night last week where we played together for the first time ever. Thank you, courtesy of Glenn, who's lent me his PS4 while he's holidaying. But we got together with Vassal and played a couple of strikes. It feels like baby steps. I feel like we're on for like probably 4 or 5 hours together, which as a responsible adult, that's insane.
That's a normal amount of time I usually play this game.
Right. Yeah. So at 3 a.m.
It's responsible as long as it's night and you wake up next morning.
I have my responsibilities are all in bed. But I did really good throughout the whole set of raids, and then that very last one we were coming down and we could tell that we were all kind of tired. I was dozing off while they were heading back to the tower or whatever we were doing. I'd be zoned out, and then somebody would talk and I'd be like, "Well, oh, sorry guys, I'm still." Anyway, so
I gotta say, I love the level where okay, Drew, you hang back because you have a bounty where it says "Don't die during the strike." Vassal and I can take care of this. And then what does Drew do? Just sneak up.
Hey, I can do. Yeah, that was retarded. It's true. I was not a very good listener. So we had to do another strike to get that bounty, but no, that was good. Other than that, I've been playing a little bit of Little Big Planet. Not as much as I'd like, but I've got a couple hours. In fact, last week I got on our back channel chat and tweeted up Rachel and said, "Hey, get a little bit of homework done and then come by the office. I'll have my PlayStation 4." And so she and I and Martina sat in there for about, it's probably only an hour and a half, 2 hours, but we played Little Big Planet, just kind of playing around together. That was
show prep.
That was show prep, and it was fun. But I made her, this is kind of funny, but she came in, she was like, "All right, let's do this." And I'm all, "Hey, you got anything, homework?" She's like, "Nah, just this," in response to paper something. And I was like, "You go do that, and then I'll be ready to play with you." Like, it was totally like something I would do with my little girls and be like, "All right, you practice your piano, and then we'll play games." So
I imagine her just sulking, walking out. You're like deflating. Like she came in so pumped. "I'm gonna play Little Big Planet with my teacher."
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna make me write a response. And it's not even for my class. I just was like, good. As long as anyway. That's about it, honestly. I don't think I've done much else in the gaming world other than that. In the school world, we're wrapping up. Feels like we are wrapping up. So I did catch up on a lot of grading. My students are probably happy now that they actually know how they're doing in my class. So that's helpful. But that's it. Helpful. That's me.
Right on. KT, what about you, man? What have you been doing?
All right. So, I've been just running the network in the background and playing a lot of Destiny. But, I had peanut butter and jelly soda.
What?
So, yeah.
Was that what you guys did on Noms?
If you guys want to find out my like reaction to it, go check out Noms. It is totally worth it.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Can you give us a brief rundown? I mean, that sounds so crazy.
Yeah, well, it's one of Jones's special sodas, and they decided for back to school, let's make a peanut butter and jelly flavored soda. Wow! And I found them like, okay, I'm gonna go try this, and I also discovered fufu berry. That's not a real fruit.
No, that's a euphemism.
Yeah, but it was fun to say fufu berry on there. That had a mandate with Drew. We walked around Salt Lake Community College on there.
Which that place is pimped out. Yeah. I had no idea that they had that much money. But if we went through Salt Lake Community College to see some of the new tech user group, they wanted to show off some stuff. But walking around Slick in this building, I don't know how long they've been there. I think it was a little over a year, but they're just starting to use like these really high-end recording studios and edit bays with DaVinci suites. I mean,
22 edit bays.
Wow.
22 and 3 dedicated color bays. Everybody watching is like, what in the world are you guys talking about? Well, there's 22 individual stations that students can go in and go cut their video and edit it the way they want.
Plus, with really high-end.
Yeah, with high-end systems on there. Yeah. And then plus there's 3 other rooms where they can go in and do this color grading, which is essentially color correcting on there.
I didn't even think they had that many students. But they do.
I didn't think there was a lot of classes like that, but apparently enough for 3 of them.
Well, they have a sound stage, they have a broadcast studio. So you know how like Weber, we do pretty well. We have a great little crew of 20 or 30 that kind of move through semester to semester, and we have our TV studio that's ancient. But this was like state of the art, top of the line. And granted, Weber has like 28,000 students. I think Slick has 65,000. So it's larger spread. But I had no idea that they had this kind of like production facility access. So yeah, so we drooled a lot and enjoyed, had a couple of cookies and came home. So it was nice. Yeah. I had to race home. Otherwise we would have like totally like mandated and
and did stuff. So and then that played a lot of Destiny. Beat the raid for the second time with the one and only Jeff Hawks.
Yeah,
I gotta say there's something about the raid that playing with randoms it's fun and you're like, yeah, I beat the raid. But saying that I was able to beat the raid with my buddy Jeff Hawks right there and my buddy GQ Visions out there, and like we made it through in pretty good time too. It took us 2 hours to clear that in pretty good time. I felt more accomplished the second time around than the first time around, because the first time around I'm like, I'm just tagging along, I really don't know what to do, and all these guys totally know what they're doing. But this one I felt like I contributed, and like I was like, you
guys killed it. It was awesome. And so I've talked about how I feel like the entire game is kind of like everything in the game outside of the raid I feel like is created to prepare you and get you to the raid. And when the raid first launched and the cap to enter is 26.
Yes, I know.
But in order to do anything, you need to be at least 27, right?
What?
Like you can still get in, and we could carry you through, Drew, at 26. But to be like a productive person, to be someone that's really helping, like you want to be at least 27.
Well, I'm trying.
And at first, I was upset about that. Like, I think when the raid released, I was like level 22, and I was like, "This is bullcrap that I can't play this." And now I'm really glad that like I had to grind it out, because it really does feel like you've accomplished something. And to go through it with friends, I was really bummed out this last time. My cousin's been playing through with us, Render, and his internet like glitched out, so he bounced, and we were able to finish out with just a random dude. But you're exactly right, KT. Like beating it with a group of your friends that you've like pushed through, like you've wiped 30 times on Atheon, and then to finally break through it's rewarding. Like in a big enough way that I struggle to like move on to different games. I mean, do you find yourself feeling that same way now, KT, now that you've done it?
Yeah, so I purposely pre-ordered Little Big Planet 3. I've played it for less than 10 minutes.
Which is so it's good, it's fun. You've got to I want to play with you. Like I want to network co-op together so that we can be
that's the thing about Destiny is it's changed my way that I viewed console games. Originally I was like console games were my sole, solo thing. Where I did occasionally I'd play with GQ Visions once in a while on like Halo or something, but it wasn't until Destiny where now I crave that, where I'm playing a game by myself. I'm like, man, this would be so much fun and more fun if I was sharing the experience with somebody on there. And it's changed how I want to play games. So I want to go back to that, but then I'm like, my Atheon's epilogue needs upgrading.
Exactly. And that's what's crazy is like I feel this like need to max out. Like I need to hit 30 as soon as possible, and it's driving me. Like my brother and my cousin both have raid gear and will be able to level up to 30, and I can't, even though I've done the raid like 10 times and they've done it twice. I cannot be as high a level as they are. So like the random loot drops that happen in the raid have not been kind to me, but like even leveling up weapons has become something that I look forward to doing, and I'm like, it's like it's got its hooks in me, man, and I just can't get away from it. Like Dragon Age is a game that was like made for me. Like that typically is my very favorite kind of game, like a big open world, magic RPG where I can go in and just lose myself in this whole new world. I hopped in, I played for 2 hours, and I was like, why am I playing a game by myself when KT and whoever else is in Destiny? Like I'll just hop out and join them. And I've done that every time I've tried to sit down and play Dragon Age. And that's crazy.
Huh.
And that's, despite all its flaws and despite the bugginess. I mean, KT, you and I, how many times did we wipe on Atheon because of bugs?
Yeah, I mean, I get stuck in the game like, why is the gate not letting me through?
Yeah, like probably 20 times. Probably 20 out of like the last 40 wipes that we had on Atheon were bug wipes.
Ouch.
And I can't help but keep going. Anyway, I jumped in on your stuff, KT. I apologize. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much everything else. But to do Rachel justice, because I feel like I'm not doing justice. I didn't even update with her, so I'm gonna guess on there. So everybody pretend I'm Rachel. So I did some homework, went to class, did more homework, played a little bit of Borderlands, got to hang out with Drew a little bit, and then did more homework.
And played Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A raccoon moved out of my city.
Yeah, and a raccoon moved out of my city. So,
done.
We'll have to verify with Rachel, but I think I covered it.
I have seen Robin on Far Cry 4. I believe I've seen her on Far Cry 4 2 or 3 times now, and then her kid is always on Skylander. So that's Robin's weekly roundup as well.
That's Robin. She plays Skylanders all the time, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
I totally would too. I totally would.
So as as I asserted earlier with my rude interruption of KT's week, I've played a lot of Destiny, a little bit of Dragon Age. I, in 1 week, got hooked on a HBO miniseries that totally blew my mind. My wife and I finished it at 2:00 in the morning last night.
Which was
it is called True Detectives.
Yes, yes.
It is incredible. I mean, in every sense of the word, it is epic filmmaking. Like it is beautiful, the way that it was shot, the way that it was written. Every scene feels like it was just crafted with so much love and care. It's
very cool.
And it's effing terrifying. Like so I mean, KT, I assume you've seen it by your enthusiasm, right?
I have. I'm excited. Season 2's coming.
Yeah, it's awesome. So it's basically like if you made gave the killing an M rating. It's a murder mystery. I don't know, like a crime.
Yeah, it's a
story.
It's almost a detective procedural, except the whole series is one.
So the entire season revolves around a single large case, and it has to do with like the occult and sacrificing children. Really dark, really gritty, and they tell the story masterfully. It is the kind of show that you watch and you're just like, it is amazing what you can do when you have good people behind the camera. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So
what's his face did a great job on it too.
Both guys, but Matthew McConaughey specifically was incredible. Like, if you think he's still just the bro from Dazed and Confused,
right, way back,
and he's great in that. Like, you know what I love about them high school girls? Like, I love that show. That's a great show. He's a great character in that show. But like, Matthew McConaughey is an actor. Like, that dude is incredible. It was shocking, like how good he was.
So where did you watch this at? HBO Go or on? What did you say?
HBO Go.
HBO Go.
Okay. I probably won't.
I'll give you my password offline.
See, I'd love to see this.
Don't watch it with the girls around.
Thank you. Okay.
If you want to watch it, I'll send you my password and you can watch it.
I might want to, because I watched this fantastic documentary today that just came out called Showrunners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys seen the demo for that, but being that we're producers, we make digital content. It was a really sweet, like, hour and a half look into people like J.J. Abrams and producers, writers who then like got their own show and got it green lighted onto a network or on a cable show. So nice. They talked to a lot of these people that are like doing this, the process of creating a show and getting it out every week throughout the series. Anyway, it was the back end of TV, which I absolutely love because I lived it. So it was just fun to see it on that scale. Anyway, side note, Showrunners, it was awesome.
Well, and what's so cool is that, in addition to all the back end stuff television, well done, correctly done television can tell such a deeper story than a movie ever could.
Yeah.
And that is something that people are finally recognizing and paying attention to. And it just makes me excited for the stuff that you see, like Netflix announcing. Like, don't they have is it a Magellan show? KT, do you remember on Netflix? It's
I don't know. They have a lot of shows.
It's like a famous explorer. They just released a trailer for a new series coming out next year. I want to say it was Magellan. I could be wrong. But it's like Netflix is such a great example of somebody who got that vision early on and was like, we are going to capitalize on this. We're going to capitalize on the concept of a miniseries telling a solidly flowing story. And I love it. So that's all aside from video games, but holy cow, man. If you haven't seen True Detectives, a must watch.
Luckily, school ends really soon. I might actually have time to finish some of those series that I started a long time ago.
Oh no, you're getting to 27 before that.
Thanks, guys.
You've got to. We've got to get you in the raid, man.
I'll make it.
Even if you only do it once. If you run the raid, if we can get you into the raid one time, we run the raid, and then you just are like, I'm done with Destiny. I'm okay with that.
But I would
like you to stick around, but I think the raid will convince you to stick around.
All right. The DLC, I'm looking forward to the DLC too.
That is it for me though. So Drew, how you feeling, bro? How you feeling, brother?
I got some news for you that I've been stucking up my sleeves.
Wrong one.
Oh, it is? I was ready to dance too.
I got it.
Oh, okay.
All right, drop that news, Drew.
Did I hear it? Or is it done?
Yep,
I don't know.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Gosh, I just want to do the news, damn it. I'm going to do my own music. No, this is great. News, just little bits of news today, not a whole lot. So we'll start off with number one. The number one was it's kind of almost like a mea culpa. The PlayStation has been refunding a couple of bucks to people because they had misleading sales ads, and this is kind of a strange things. You don't hear about this at larger levels, marketing and corporate stuff. But apparently, again, I missed this because I don't have money to buy things, so I don't watch ads. But they promoted the PlayStation Vita in online ads and in TV ads and a couple other things. But they basically promised things that didn't happen. Imagine that. The marketing team not lining up with the dev team. How does this happen? Weird. So some of the things that they had promised was that Sony claimed that the Vita would enable gamers to pause any PS3 game and pick it up somewhere else on the Vita. It was like a kind of cross-save ability and or remote play on the Vita. What else? There's a couple other things. Little just functionality that they announced in the advertisements that didn't happen. So now, because of that, the FTC... So like the Federal Trade Commission, this isn't just like a class action suit from people that are like, you promised. This is the FTC that went in, looked at the actual promises made in verbatim. I saw the court documents, but it like lists out the script of each advertisement, and then it comes back and the settlement, the terms of the settlement basically says you can't make misleading claims in the future, and you have to give $25 in cash or a credit or $50 merchandise voucher to anyone who bought a Vita before June 1st of 2012. So you'll get an email if you did that, if you had your Vita before the 2012. So interesting news there. What are your thoughts on that? Just the idea that the FTC would actually, what they did it. They said,
good.
Settle
Stepping
up.
in. It's false advertising. Step in, fix it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, when I first started, because I'm not going to lie, before this, I was an Xbox player on there, and when I got my PS3, I was excited. I'm like, oh, so I only need to buy the game for either the Vita or for the PS3 on some of these. And then I find out there's like 12 games that do that on there. I'm like, well, this is dumb. So I actually need to go back and check to see if I qualify for this.
Yeah, see if you can have your money back. That's true. That's true. I feel like it was a pretty broad claim to offer those things and have them not like actually exist. And so part of me on the marketing side just wonder if there was a disconnect between what the product could actually do and then the guys that okayed the marketing lingo, right? Somebody watches an ad and they go, yep, that's what we can do. Somebody along the line would have been like, hey, no, that's not the way it works, or that's not what we're delivering at launch.
Right. Well, and very often marketers and developers speak different languages.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
And so
misunderstand it.
The dev team says we can do X, Y, and Z, and the marketing team hears, oh, we can do X, X, and Z.
Yeah.
Like it's in fact, I'm kind of in the middle of that at work right now. It's like working between, anyway, that's stuff I can't really talk about. We're working on some projects that basically involve a lot of moving parts and a lot of like putting marketing plans together for stuff like the PlayStation Vita would be very difficult if you didn't have an intimate knowledge of what the hardware could actually do. And sometimes, like, obviously it's Sony's fault. Like, that should have been communicated better. And so it's good that this FCC, it should be taken care of. It's good that the FTC stepped in. It's good that it's being taken care of.
Yeah. Good. That's kind of a ding news, kind of like an ouch. That's not the only one. But second news we'll jump into real quick is that there's a co-op sale available now on PSN. So if you jump on there, you can buy a bunch of co-op type of games. Some of them are Borderlands 2, Towerfall Ascension, Dark Souls, EA Sports, some good games totally on sale. And their skitch is, hey, it's co-op-y games. So I think Little Big Planet 2 is on there, Rayman. There's a whole list that you'll see in our show notes. Anything you guys saw on that list that you're...
If you haven't played Borderlands 2, play Borderlands 2.
Resogun's on here too. Make sure you get that.
Rezo's on there. MPA Jam. It's backdated. Whoa, sorry. Did you see that? My diffuser fell off.
Something just blew up.
Other notes that we should probably let you know about: Black Friday Roundup. I'll run through a couple of these Black Friday Roundup options that you have real quick, because it's so close. If you're planning on picking up some games or equipment consoles on for Black Friday, this is my time. This is it.
Pay attention to my
options.
Twitter. I'll share all the good stuff.
Yes, you are. This is, as Katie said, this is my holiday. I don't care about the bird. I want the deals. So GameStop is doing $100 off a GTA PS4 bundle, which I believe also has The Last of Us remastered in there. So for $3.99, the original price of the bundle of the console, you get GTA 5 and Last of Us remastered, right?
Mm-hmm.
GameStop's also doing $10 off of Destiny, $30 off gold headsets, and the PS4 camera is on sale. There's a whole lot. They have a whole flyer that's out for GameStop. It's just
I would so the headset ends up being $60, and for a pair of $60 headphones, I would say you're pretty good on there.
Yeah. For a wireless pair, I agree. Originally, they're at $99. Right?
Yeah.
I've loved mine.
They're good, but at $60, it's like sweet deal.
Yeah.
Other things to look for: Dell, Best Buy, Toys R Us, Walmart, Target. They all kind of have PS4, Last of Us, that same bundle. But they also, I believe, Amazon or Toys R Us. Well, Amazon and Toys R Us have another bundle with the Lego Batman 3 and Little Big Planet 3. So if you're not into if you're not into punching hookers, you can play Batman. Right, so you have a choice there.
Hookers or Chlorosept.
Right. Oh, and then this is the one that KT brought to my attention, that eBay. Did you say it's tomorrow night?
Yes,
Wednesday.
it's tomorrow night.
If the show gets out, hopefully, or you haven't missed it, the PS4 they're selling $329 on eBay, 10 o'clock Wednesday night. I don't know how many you'll have or how that will work, but I will look for your tweets
on that,
because I'm probably going to jump on that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Then when Christmas rolls around, my wife will be like, "What'd you get me?" And I'll be like, nothing.
You just tell her, "Hey, I got you a present for me.
I got you a present for me."
Or got you a present to give to me.
Or what you can do is, I'll probably end up getting her a present too for borrowing your time.
There you go.
What you do is just take my name off of it and then put your name on it. She won't know the difference.
And then she'll be like, "But KT didn't give me anything this year." And I'll be, "No, I'm sure it got lost in the mail. It's fine." I'll take the credit. All right. Other deals. This one's not as hot, but Sam's Club's offering the white PlayStation 4 with Destiny bundle, $3.99, but you can get the white Glacier White with Destiny. Also in line, but I think they were saying they were only doing like 3, 4, 5 units per store at Sam's. So
not doing that.
Good luck. Other games. Best Buy has a whole bunch of games for cheap. Infamous Second Son, Shadows of Mordor, controllers at crazy prices, like $20, $30 at Best Buy. So those are some door busters right there. KT, which ones are you lining up for? What are you doing?
So for these, I'm going to hope Amazon matches them for one thing, because I'm getting way too old to wait out in the freezing cold on there. So I put Infamous Second Son on there because, according to Jeff, that is one of those must-play games of the genre on there. So that's only $20. So that one's a good one. I put Shadow of Mordor on because it's only been like a month and it's already $25.
That's a game worth playing too.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's been fun. I played that a little bit with Glenn.
If it wasn't for Destiny, I would be neck deep in that. That's a good game. It's a very, very well done game.
Neck deep in orc blood.
In orc juice.
Orc juice. Cool. All right, shall I punch through 2 more newses?
Yeah.
2 or 3 more newses. So another ding for PlayStation. They had a sexist ad that was pulled from YouTube last week. I believe it was...
They're the ones that pulled it.
Right, but was it Europe? So it wasn't even like for everyone's consumption. But it was kind of an embarrassing ad. It was embarrassing for them. I thought it was super sexy, and but I think the problem was, so the ad, basically you can watch it on The Verge or any number of other places, but the ad was this really sexy woman talking about what could be mistaken as masturbation. "Oh, when's the last time you did it? Oh, you do it that often? I bet you do it all the time under your blankets. I bet you could do it in under the table, or maybe out in the garden."
It's a super sexy chick talking about jerking off, and then surprise,
"I meant playing games with your Vita." Right? So funny advertising, very fitting. Problem was, I think they overdid the sexiness of it, and in the midst of the Gamergate and all of that, this
poor timing, poor taste.
Yep. Yeah. Great fun ad, but just wrong time and extra sexy. So they pulled it. They just said, let's not do that. So that's a newsy thing. Other news. We have a list of free games that'll be coming up for your PlayStation networks of PlayStation Plus. I believe, and this is kind of ahead of time, but they've said they're going to do Injustice, Gods Among Us for December, and Secret Ponchos in December. Those will be some of the free games. And then coming in January, so this is like past holidays, Infamous First Light and The Swapper our games. It'll be available
cool.
there. So that's kind of cool.
I'm excited for Infamous First Light. I think that's sick that they're putting that out.
Yeah, those are pretty big titles, and I think that's what they were saying in their blog post too. It's just like, hey, this should get some hoop hops and yellers because this is good gaming. And then this one, just last minute add to our news station, to our little news block. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is the biggest entertainment launch of 2014. Overall, franchise has reached 10 billion sales worldwide.
So it's important on this one to emphasize biggest entertainment launch. This is not biggest game launch.
Right.
Like the entertainment covers movies, books, everything. Like this is the highest selling piece of entertainment
Yep.
in 2014. That's insane. Like
10 billion, that's insane. Billion. Oh.
To think about the way that in many ways still in popular culture, video games are ridiculed as being juvenile and like silly, right?
Right.
This game just pulled 10 B with $1 billion
In the last
for
10
Activision.
years. Right. So in the last 10 years, like this is since its revenue, since its launch in 2003.
Right.
But that number is huge.
It's
So,
insane.
Yeah. Call of Duty. You know what? And I played some Call of Duty a couple of years ago on an Xbox. I remember staying up late and I'm parking up it was in Beta Loft days, and I stayed overnight and played. I played Call of Duty with a buddy of mine, Alex Lutz, and it was a good time. But I'm not an FPS guy, but it was fun to be with a guy and just kind of shooting Eskimo Nazis.
You picked Call of Duty over the Dig Dug machine.
I'm just saying. I know we had a Dig Dug, an actual working Dig Dug, and I stayed up all night playing Call of Duty. A couple of times actually, because I almost lived at that place. It was so expensive. Anyway, that, my friends, is the news.
Rachel is not here today, so I think KT's going to take over for her.
All right, so we got a whole bunch of releases. If I can pull this up right. Oops, that's another one. That one right there. All right, so most of the big releases for November were last week, but I don't want to miss out on some of these because some of these are great. First one, Geometry Wars 3. Do I need to say anything else? Geometry Wars 3.
Okay, because on our show notes, it says Gynatry, and I was like, what the hell is Gyno Wars? I'm so worried.
You can tell who was in a rush to write the notes.
That's funny.
On there,
Gynatry 3. No, Geometry just sounds like a blast. No, I'm okay with that.
Did you guys never play Geometry Wars back in the day?
No. No.
Such a fun game. It's kind of like Asteroids, except on crack on there.
Yeah,
but I love the first two, and I was so sad they didn't make a new one for so long. But they finally came out with Geometry
3 coming up.
I mean, that's really all I need. But then
there's more
to feed more of my Asianness on there. Akiba's Trip Undead and Undressed that comes out today, and Aqua Kitty Milk Mine Defender. You literally go save the cat population.
Oh, wait, is that an Asian one? Aqua Kitty?
No, but it's an internet meme one on there. So,
okay.
On there. Did you guys ever play boxing on the PlayStation 1? There's a game called Boxing.
Cool.
Yeah. That was always a fun one. Jetpack Joyride's on its nth iteration now. Pocket RPG actually sounds pretty interesting on there. It's a hack and slash. Speakeasy is also out, and a former indie game of the week, Thomas Was Alone, and it's a 3-way cross-buy, which I love.
So,
yeah, that's always nice.
That's how it should be.
On there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be. I really like that idea.
That and this little Telltale games called Tales from the Borderlands also came out today.
Damn.
I know.
So that's kind of weird because that came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, because I thought it was supposed to come out in December, and then I had to go check, and everybody's like, "Hey, the game's out today." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, I saw a tweet yesterday that was like, "Look what came early," and I was like, I had no idea that was even close to coming out. Yeah. So that's crazy.
Which is crazy because they're supposed to come out with the Game of Thrones game in December too. So they're working overtime over there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then of course December 2nd, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 remix comes out. I had to mention this. Everybody knows in the back channel how I really, really want this limited edition, but $110 is just way too much for me, especially since it includes 1.5, and I already have 1.5.
Oh,
so
however, I don't have 1.5. So you put the 110. I'll take the 1.5.
Oh,
I love Kingdom Hearts. I've not played since probably 2001. That was before I got married. Like, yeah, I would love to play all of them over again with my girls. That's one I'd love.
Yeah. And then also the Crew comes out on the 2nd. We'll kind of That will be our kind of discussion thing. And I also knew Jeff would kill me. December 9th,
You would
Destiny
be a miss.
expansion, Dark Below DLC hits.
Oh yeah.
It's Destiny.
And my question is, was there anybody who did not get this pre-ordered already? Like, you'd be a fool not to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
True.
Crickets.
I didn't. No, it's me. I didn't
Crickets.
have enough money. I just went with like
Until you have a PS4, it doesn't matter anyway.
Well, see, I bought.
But he's going to have one tomorrow.
I bought when I
Drew, you
realized
promised. Are you going to lie to a former student?
Are you going to lie to a friend and a co-host?
Just don't tell the wife.
And it was
Yeah.
Drew.
It
It's on
works
the
every
internet,
time.
so it's true. It was on the internet, so it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
It works every time.
No,
You
I
just
tell my
don't
wife
tell her.
everything. I just tell my wife everything.
You just don't tell her, and then it all works out. That's how it works every time.
I'm
it just works out.
I'm
Folks,
writing
do
this
not
down
listen to
for
Jeff at this
wedding
point.
advice.
As happy as my marriage has been for the last 13 years, I think a lot of it comes from telling her everything. So
It's based on the idea that not telling her everything is the best way to move forward.
I've been doing a fantastic job of telling her everything. So I got to keep on that path.
If you are currently engaged and working towards a marriage or struggling, everything I just said is bullshit.
Yeah. Thanks for the disclaimer.
All
It's
right.
true. Honesty in all things.
Secrets are not good.
No. Can you imagine? Jeez.
Neither though is spending $400 without permission.
Right. I still know people who get married and still have separate accounts, which is just weird to me.
I
That's so.
don't get it.
Anyway, okay. What else are we doing today?
We are going to get into actually a Polygon article that was, I think, very well written and very kind of articulates an idea and an issue that has been bothering me for a while now. So this is in Polygon. It was an article by a guy named Brian Crescent. And basically, I'm going to kind of jump through the article and highlight some of the points that I thought were most important, and maybe we can discuss them a little bit. But basically, I wanted to talk about the new kind of norm that's emerging with video games in this new current gen, the PS4, Xbox One generation of gaming, where developers and publishers think it is appropriate to release games that are broken. In various states of brokenness, right?
What?
So if you go through, last week we talked a little bit about Assassin's Creed Unity and went through some of the issues that game has had. Broken, like, character design, facial features of characters just totally not being there. So you have this creepy little sack ball with eyes and lips and teeth, and it's just freaking scary looking. But I mean, you're falling through the map, game-breaking bugs and glitches. It's becoming more and more prevalent. And I wanted to read pieces of this article, and then we'll discuss them if that's cool with you. So in the piece, one of the things he says, today's cutting edge of game consoles brought with them living worlds, new ways to interact with entertainment and experiences that weave seamlessly with vast social networks. They also created a new norm, selling not a finished game, but the promise of one. More often than not, blockbuster video games tend to ship incomplete. Of the more than 24 titles I looked at from this year, both ones created in-house for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One or by third-party developers, all of them have required a patch to either fix issues or develop or deliver upon promises made in the run-up to the game. So let's stop there for a second and look at maybe a couple of examples of this. I think he's right. I can't think of a game that was a AAA title that has come out this year that did not have an instant day one patch. Is there a game? Can you guys think of a game that you've played that you purchased, downloaded the entire thing, and worked once it was downloaded, or worked once the disc was put into your console? So, I mean, if there's praise to be given, let's give it. The only one that I can think of that I don't recall there being a patch was Infamous.
On day one, right?
To be honest with you, I don't even remember anything that didn't require a patch since I've been using cartridge-based games. Not gonna that, or well, if you count oddly enough mobile games, they don't seem to have this problem.
Or Nintendo games.
Yeah. Well, I can't quote that because the last time I touched my Wii U was over a year ago. So I haven't been able to throw in a game. But no, even the Nintendo, they had this huge patch for the Wii U on the first day, and I remember I had really crappy internet. So what I did was on a Saturday, I was working at a university, so I drove up to the university to use the internet there, so I could download this 2 gig patch that would have taken me overnight, just so I could play my Wii U.
Wow.
On that, so
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I have this conversation every single time in my head. Remember those days when I was young? I could just blow into the cartridge, pop it in, and then start playing the game. Now I gotta wait fangled hours for you kids to get ready to play. I just want to smash some heads in, okay?
Right. And so so I don't mean to say that I'm like opposed to patches. Obviously, these are big games and they're much more complex than the cartridge era gaming, right? But I think Assassin's Creed Unity is a great example of a game that was shipped. Obviously, like there's no way that Ubisoft didn't know that this game was broken. And maybe even a bigger, more kind of heinous or nefarious launch that happened recently was the Master Chief Collection. So we're a PlayStation podcast, but we have Xbox brothers and sisters out there that we know and love.
Yep.
So Halo is pretty much, I mean, it's fair to say that it's the biggest series that Xbox has, right? Is that a fair thing to say?
I think it's fair.
Is there a bigger franchise on the Xbox than Halo? I mean, as far as commitment from fans, like people were on the Xbox 360 so they could play Halo. Like it's biggest franchise that they own. And they shipped a game that could not play multiplayer. The single player campaigns, from what I've read and from what I've heard from friends, run great, but the matchmaking is utterly broken. Like my buddy Corey picked up the game, and in the last 2 weeks that he has owned it, he has been able to get into 3 multiplayer matches. That is absurd. Like the biggest franchise that Microsoft owns, their biggest game of this year, like people bought the Xbox One to play Master Chief Collection. And not only are these people that bought it for that game, but these are also people that have probably purchased this game several different times. It's because the Master Chief Collection is a remake of 1 through 4. So these guys are dedicated, like literally time-tested and proven fans of this franchise, and you just gave them a broken game. To me, that is unacceptable. And one question that I wanted to ask you guys is, can you think of another industry where it is appropriate or acceptable to release a broken product? Can you think of a single one? Like, I can't.
Well,
if I bought a car seat that was defective, it would be recalled. It would be recalled. I would be refunded, and they would send me a replacement at no cost once it was fixed.
No, that's true. But here's I don't know if I call this my argument, because I don't think I'm an apologist on this side of things, but I would say that when you say, can you think of another industry where this is acceptable? I would say that I don't think there's another industry where that's possible.
Yeah.
Right? It's not even possible in anything manufactured or anything sold for goods to get something back and be like, oh, that wasn't quite ready. But because gaming has gone digital, so much is being distributed digitally, it's almost as if I would say that the mindset is, hey, let's just get it as far as we need to. We'll go gold, and then whatever we find between now and then, we'll have that first day patch ready to go. But that's a possibility, and you can't do that with any other industry. So I guess what I'm saying is, well, it's still not good work practice, probably not a good good working model to be like, hey, let's ship a broken game. They can, like, technically they can say, hey, we've got this far enough that we want to launch now. We're going to get it out there. But I guess I don't know. I guess probably what my argument would be, like, they should draw that line a little bit farther in the sand instead of like having the unmodeled faces, right? The things that are actually broken where you can't match a multiplayer. I wouldn't mind a couple of like glitches where, on this one level you might fall through and get lost, like I did on Little Big Planet. I fell out of the the game, and I was floating around in nothingness for a while. That kind of stuff to me is like, oh, you know, I'm okay with that. It's the big things like multiplayer not working and the things that they've been promising leading up to it. Those should be ready to go on day one. But I think it's a unique opportunity for games and developers to hit it up. You know, they have this tether on their product that they can update it. I don't know, that's my take. So I guess it's almost not fair to say I don't know of any other industry, because really there's nothing out there that operates this way.
I would say the closest probably right now, and people are going to hate me for this.
I hate you.
Is I would say the phone industry right now.
Okay.
You will have devices come out. I won't name names, but I'll tell you both sides have done this, where they've released devices and things don't work. Say the camera doesn't work or things, and then they'll patch it later on there and make that work. I would say that is probably the closest thing we have on there, but it also follows kind of this more cultish feeling where they feel. So part of me is, as you're talking about this, I'm wondering is, do you think, because these games that you mentioned have come out probably in the last month or two, and my question is, did Sony and Microsoft respectively rush their console release, which caused these games, because some of these games were already delayed on there, so they were trying to get them out. And is this Christmas rush right now that's happening, them trying, you know, they were not even remotely close to doing this, but then Microsoft and Sony are like, we need to put out a new console. Because let's not remember, I own both of the consoles, and I will not lie to you, the first 4 months, I hardly touched both of them on there. And the reason I didn't touch both of them is because I beat all the games I had for them, and there weren't any new ones. So my question is this trend, is it because they were trying to rush and get these games in quickly on there?
That's a good question. I think it's a valid argument to say, yes, we've seen a lot of broken ones lately. What's causing developers to push them out undone? Is it that pressure?
Yeah, is it these big companies saying, hey, we got to have something out by Christmas? You know, this is our moneymaker, especially with Call of Duty. That they have 3 different development studios, as far as I know, working on next year's iteration of Call of Duty. I think that is overkill on there, to be honest with you.
So I think, you know, I think in my opinion, yeah, studios are going to be pushing these developers to get their products out, right? Like that's obviously that's their job. EA is a publisher. Ubisoft is a publisher. Like that's what they do, is they publish games on a timeline. I think what needs to happen though, first of all, I think, and this one of the articles that I've kind of been browsing through suggested like an increase of beta testing and pre-release stress testing to make sure that the games can handle and function at the proper level. Like, and that I think is giving developers the benefit of the doubt of saying, you know, maybe you didn't know it was broken. Maybe maybe with only like the 300 closed beta tests that you did, everything ran smooth. But when day one launched, you had 400,000 people trying to log on at the same time, and it utterly destroyed your system, right? That could have totally been a factor in the Halo launch. So he recommended stuff like that, additional stress testing, and giving the public an opportunity to play beta content. A great example of that was Evolve, right? Evolve had a beta. I got the beta invite. I signed up. I downloaded the beta. I could not join a party. I spent probably 2 hours with the little thing twirling trying to get into a party. Like that's information that they needed to know, because had I bought that game and then wasn't able to play, I would have lost my mind. Like I think regardless of a timeline, it's inexcusable to release a product that doesn't work. Like if you have a patch that'll fix it, great. I don't care about the day one patch, honestly. Like that doesn't bother me at all.
Well, because a minimal one too, right? I think I
download my games
there.
Anyway. Right. Well, I do digital downloads of all my games anyway, so I expect to like have to start a download process and wait until the end of the download process to be able to play my game. So like for a day one patch, not a big deal to me. But if you can't fix your problems with that day one patch and I can't join my game, like if I buy Halo Master Chief Collection and I can't get into a game with my friends, that's unacceptable. Like you have shipped a product on the promise that I could play a game with my buddies that is not working. And I don't think that can be excused. Now, whether there is some kind of reconciliation, I guess, for that. I think Mass Effect 3 was a good example of a company that recognized, even though it wasn't something they did wrong, they released the last 5 minutes of Mass Effect 3. There were a lot of people that were unhappy with it, right? And in response to that, to say like, listen, we hear you. We're sorry that you didn't like it. We care about you as our customers. Every single piece of multiplayer DLC for Mass Effect 3 was free. Prior to the release of the game, it was expected that each piece of multiplayer DLC would be $15. And they released like 6 pieces of multiplayer DLC, and they did it all for free. So I don't know if for the people that picked up Halo Chief's Master Chief Collection, like I don't know if the answer is, hey, DLC going forward will be free. I don't know if it's, hey, you know, we're gonna give you, you know, 50% of your money back on this game because you purchased a broken game. We want you to know that we care about you. We want you to know that this wasn't done with any kind of malice. Like, we're not trying to take advantage of you. And I think that's the biggest problem right now, is that people feel like they're being taken advantage of.
Sure. Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I mean, Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed kind of did, right? Like, they held back the review embargoes.
Right,
They intentionally did things that put them in a position to look better than they actually were. And those are the things that I have, probably more than anything else, that I have a problem with. Speaking to like reconciliations and like, you know, figuring out a way to resolve the issue, or to like take care of their customers. Xbox just released a status update from Bonnie Ross, who is the 343 studio head. And I just wanted to read the first two paragraphs. It says, on November 11th, we released Halo the Master Chief Collection, the goal being to create a tribute to Halo fans around the world and to celebrate Master Chief's debut on the Xbox One. With the initial release of Halo the Master Chief Collection, however, we have not delivered on the experience you deserve. I personally apologize for this. On behalf of all of us here at 343 Industries, our team is committed to working around the clock until these issues are resolved. While our team works on continual improvements and towards solutions, my commitment to you is that we will take care of all owners of Halo the Master Chief Collection. Our primary and continued focus is first on fixing the issue at hand. Once we've done that, we will detail how we will make this right to our fans. I think that's important. Like, that's another thing that I think Ubisoft has totally dropped the ball on. For the studio head to come out and take ownership of this problem, I think was very important. And what I think is unfortunate is that it didn't happen day 2.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that should have happened immediately once the problem was recognized. You know, November 11th, the game was launched, and this apology came out the 24th. I think a lot of people just want to be heard, right? Like, if there's a problem with the game, if it's a legitimate mistake and it's not like this malicious, hijacking of reviews and whatever else, I think, honestly, like, for me, a good enough approach would be like, hey, we didn't know this was an issue. We're doing everything we can to resolve it. We care about you. We recognize that this is an inconvenience. We apologize. I don't know. I'm talking a lot.
You got a passion. You got a fire in your belly. You got to get it out. It's cool. Now, even earlier before the show, weren't you saying that you were like, damn it, if you're working on this, I want to see a webcam on your team then that they are on this right now. Didn't you say that, Jeff?
Yeah, if you're going to tell me that you're working around the clock, offer me proof. Offer me proof. You know, give me a line by line. Like, hey, we just patched
There's the code for line 15.
HTML code 4.169 double niner.
Yeah.
You know, like, I get
so,
that's unrealistic.
Yeah,
but
I'll give you insight. After working with programmers, and I work with a lot of programmers, you don't want to see them like
you don't want to watch them
40th hour in working. It's not a pretty sight. It is not a pretty sight.
So what do you guys think? So then, I mean, so I'm a little more extreme than both of you are. Do you see this as being a big problem? Because to me, it is a big problem because it's becoming a bigger trend of.
I think I would take KT's take on it and say, is this bigger trend that especially these articles are kind of pointing out? Are they? What's the causal relationship? Right? Is the data that he's getting is kind of anecdotal? Hey, look at this, this, and this. So what's the relationship? And is it just the ramp up to holiday sales? Are we going to see a better push through the beginning of next year? I guess that would be me saying, let's see what happens in the next like January through June area. But at the same time, there's always something that they're trying to release for E3 or big shows that I'm ready to give them to see what's going on before I think something nefarious is happening.
Yeah, like I mean, in Ubisoft, I'm pretty sure something nefarious is happening. With all the things they're doing,
the big ones. Yeah.
But with the Master Chief Collection on there, being that the biggest thing was the matchmaking thing, is I really think they underestimated how big their audience was going to be. To be honest with you, because let's keep in mind some of these games that are coming that are in the Master Chief Collection, they're over 10 years old. So they're like, no one's going to want to come back and play these, right? Because we already have Halo 1 Anniversary out, and it wasn't that big. And then I don't know why. Maybe the build up to 5 kind of did it, or just everybody got nostalgic on there. That one I kind of understand, but Dragon Age. Dragon Age, Assassin's Creed had no reason. I mean, because as far as I know, Black Flag didn't have many of these problems, right? When it came out.
So Unity had tons, though, right?
Yeah, and then Unity's just totally screwed up on there, and so like that was unacceptable. Especially when what got to me about the Unity thing was, as a reviewer, I want to give the most unbiased review as possible without seeming biased, and a lot of times I'm getting these codes for free, so people are like, they paid you off on there. I'm like, I just can't afford to review all these games if I have to buy all of them on there, and that rubbed me the wrong way when they had a special build that hid the microtransactions and things like that. I was like, that's cool. And it's really interesting to see, because when I first started following E3, I was like, okay, I'm going to pay attention to the major console makers, your Microsofts, your Sonys, your Nintendos on there. And then all of a sudden you start seeing these Ubisofts and E3 show up. Used to be E3 was terrible because I didn't really care for the 3 gazillion sports games they were showing off on there. And Ubisoft is showing all these things. I'm like, this company seems like they truly believe in their products and they want to give a good experience out to people. And then now you're seeing this and you're like, holy crap, like, was that just all a facade? And part of me is, I wonder if people are feeling a betrayal too with these companies that we've trusted so much. I mean, 343's, when they came out with Halo 4, everybody was like, that's not Bungie though on there. And then when they came out, they're like, okay, we feel safe with them. They took care of us on there, so they'll take care of us for the Master Chief Collection, right? And obviously that was kind of a betrayal right there. And then Dragon Age 2, that's another popular series. And I've seen mixed reviews. People hated 2. They loved 1. Probably because they loved 1 so much and 2 was different from that they hated it on there. They wanted this to be a good one. And a lot of it is, I wonder if it kind of happens with phones too. People get excited about rumors. They get excited about the hype. And then when the actual thing is delivered, like, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
On there.
And Destiny suffered from that as well.
Yeah, Destiny's definitely suffered from that, and I went in with an open mind on there. Let's see, and I'm reading our chat right now with Rev, and he's talking. Do
you have some ideas on broken games?
Yeah, he's wondering if our developers are getting a little complacent about, we can patch it later. Kind of attitude versus being able to be with a cartridge. If you screwed up. There's no way of changing those transistors or the data on the chips on there. So
I think it's that, for me, it's that level. Like, what point do they go, When do they get complacent? When it's like, that's not working. Well, we'll take a couple weeks after launch to fix that. Or if they're like, all right, we're going to get at least playable. What we promised is going to be ready to go on day one.
Yeah, to me, I just still think it's still a little too early. And I would say a year later, we should go back and revisit and see how many of these like big title games, these AAA games, because you don't hear about these indie games having these issues on there. And those are the games that the developers for sure are putting their heart and soul into.
Right.
And making sure it's polished. On there is
even and that's true even on the Ubisoft side. I mean, you look at Child of Light, right?
You didn't have any issues with it, right?
No.
On there. So I think we're just a little too early, and we just need to give it a little bit more time, because keep in mind these consoles are only a year old. PS3, the PS4 is not even a year old, if I remember correctly, because the Xbox just barely turned a year old. Just give them a little more time, because part of it is just growing pains. You have new hardware, you have new architectures you got to get used to and program for. And for me, at least Halo, at least the story missions are playable. From what I hear about Assassin's Creed, nothing's playable.
Yeah, it's totally broken.
On that, and yeah, I don't know. I might be biased for Halo because I played Halo a lot in there, and I get it. They're trying to update this game that's so old, so you're gonna run into issues there. But some of these other games, part of me is like, seriously, like Drive Club. I saw a copy of that in the store. I'm like, oh yeah, they're selling a disc version. I'd be pissed if I had the disc version of this on there. So, like, yeah, I just think we just need a little bit more time to see if this is going to be a continuing trend or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how you define trend. Yes, it's happening. It's happening more often. Hopefully, they nip it in the bud and we don't see it as a trend. But that's my take.
Right on. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think we're all right. I may be a little more extreme, but
you get a fire in your belly.
Obviously, it's an issue that needs to be solved, whether that is through increasing or delaying a game. Like we've said on this show multiple times, right? We'd rather have a delayed game than a broken game. Whether that is done through, whether the fix comes through recalls. One of the articles that I read suggested that recalls be enacted. I think that probably is unrealistic. And then also the additional beta testing that was recommended, like that's something that gamers love anyway. And how much more hype did Destiny walk away with after the beta than they had prior to it?
Yeah, sure.
Like, dude, people lost their minds with the Destiny beta because it was just so much fun to get into that world. So a lot of things that can be improved upon. Either way, I hope to see more games be working as we push to the future. I think KT, you're exactly right. I think it'll be interesting to look back on this year at this time next year and say, let's compare, because we've seen a lot of games that were slated for a 2014 release pushed to 2015. Evolve is a great example of that. Bloodborne is a great example of that. So hopefully we see these games start to get on the right kind of a release track. I think what you said is very true. Like it's hard to remember, but these still are new consoles. And a lot of games that had been in development prior to the game even launching are now finally coming out. And, maybe a year from now, we finally get into a comfortable cycle where developers have the time they need to get the games out. So we'll see. And this, ladies and gentlemen, has been episode 33 of the LittleBigKast.
We'll see.
Again, thank you for joining us. My name is Jeff Hawks. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Hawks. Drew.
You can follow me wherever you want. You can follow me home. You can follow me into bed. I'm so tired. Did you see me yawning out there? I was just like,
yeah, that's why I decided we should wrap.
But no, you can follow me Night20 on Twitter. I'm the old man gamer
and the producer/seducer.
And
Mr. KT Data.
You guys know where to find me because my ego's so big I named an entire site after myself that this podcast is on.
True, he did.
You can find everything from there.
It's ktdata.net.
Awesome.
So thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you on the flip side, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, one and all.
Caw-caw.
Oh, I was dancing the whole time. You better believe I'm dancing. Yay! Solid show, boys.